If you're new to this map, please do not use explosives. It's an old saying from 2005 when you take the initiative to play WarCraft III Custom Maps. That's right, this is the Red Solstice. It's based off the WarCraft III map series Night of the Dead, with a sci-fi twist to it. I'm a former WarCraft III map maker myself. I made a similar set of maps called the S3 Marine Corps, and here I am making a video about a game based on the WarCraft III maps. Can we go deeper? I'm not sure about that, but let's talk about this game first. It's played from a top-down perspective. You control a Marine and, in some cases, a few AI Marines. Before you jump into multiplayer, you're encouraged to play single player, complete with its own campaign and storyline. This also serves as the tutorial. Don't put too much stock into the story, it's only there to establish the game world. They claim that there's over 30 hours of just single player content, but I never went through the whole thing. I just did enough missions to familiarize myself with the controls. The single player campaigns let you choose Marines, their classes, and even their loadouts and skills. A few things were added to the original gameplay. Unlike in WarCraft 3, you can move and shoot at the same time. Doing this though will make you move slower. The auto-aim feature is also new, but it's not what the name implies. Enabling this will allow you to automatically fire at any hostile units in range, which makes me wonder why they didn't call this auto-fire. They also added the tactical mode, though it's only available in single player. This slows the game down to a crawl and lets you select and issue orders to the other Marines. Very useful for moving them into defensive positions and providing cover fire. Survival mode basically allows you to play the multiplayer mode by yourself, with all the single player perks like having a squad you control and slowing down time in tactical mode to issue orders. You can play the entire game by yourself if that's your thing, so that base is covered. But playing together with other people is what this game is all about. It's entirely co-op up to 8 players. You're controlling a single unit and you don't have access to tactical mode. It's exactly like the WarCraft 3 maps, with the addition to move and shoot simultaneously. The mission is to clear out the Stroll virus from the colony. You can choose to land together with everyone on the dropship, or separately in a different part of the map in a drop pod, if you're brave enough. You search for supplies around the map, completing objectives as you go along while staying alive. It seems simple enough, but it's actually very difficult, especially as time goes on when people are dying off, you're running low on ammo, and you have nothing to deal with one of the stronger enemies. Expect to die often and lose the game often, but that's a big part of the fun, and it just makes a victory all the more sweeter. I can go on about the intricacies of the gameplay, but I'd be here all day. I'll just touch on a few things. Explosives should never be used by new people. That's, of course, a generalization. New people always had a tendency to use explosives as if friendly fire was off, which is why veterans don't like it when they use it. As you can imagine, we've been blown up by new people many times over the last decade. It sucks. But I think the modern UI will make it easier to learn and understand. Now it's just a matter of making sure no one's in the blast radius before you set them off, and those are clearly marked on the explosives. Actually, there's a lot of things added to the gameplay formula that's designed specifically to help out the newer players. You only have one life, and if you die, that's it. But if your rank is low enough, you're given the ability to respawn twice near the location you died. The assault class and the weapons that are initially available to you are also very good. You're not grinding away just to unlock something that makes you useful. You're unlocking specialized weapons and classes, things that change the role you play in the game. In your very first multiplayer game, you're able to kick some ass and do something meaningful for your team. As with many games these days, your multiplayer progress, like your experience and unlocks, are bound to your Steam account. I only bring this up because back in the WarCraft 3 days, this persistent save was stored as a password. You type this password into chat to load it back in on your next game. I had so many post-it notes on my desk with these passwords, and it's really great that I don't have to do this anymore. The overall game is awesome, just like the WarCraft 3 maps. The developers even played Night of the Dead back in the day, so of course they're going to stay true to that. And there's even multiple maps you can play on, so it's not like there's only one map layout that makes up the entire game. It's very replayable, but it's not without its problems, specifically outside the game. I think the lack of marketing is what's holding this game back. Only 48,000 people have purchased the game on Steam. I've only seen around a couple hundred people and 10 to 12 games active at any given time. The population of the community is what will ultimately affect the quality of the gameplay, and of course, my analysis of the game. The game had a very quiet release. GameSpot has their review, but not IGN, and only a handful of smaller review sites have a review out. The game is very obscure, so unless something changes in the next few weeks, what you see is what you get. It's fairly easy to get a game going so far, but it takes a couple minutes to get a full house. It looks really doubtful that the population will go up. The developer has mentioned their plans for post-release support. At the moment, it's bug fixes and balance patches, so if you're having problems, things will improve. A few months from now, the games will be limited to a very dedicated group of fans. These are the kinds of people who were fans of the WarCraft 3 maps, and they stayed around for a very long time. The game won't die off entirely, but since it's not a mod anymore, it cannot latch onto another game's community. The developer threw out a few ideas for upcoming content, such as new weapons, classes, bosses, and game modes, more single-player missions, and even mod support. I doubt the mod support will come in this time frame, but I would at least expect more content. I think this game gives you a great opportunity to experience a taste of WarCraft 3 Custom Maps and what they were all about. This is what I played over a decade ago, and I loved the hell out of it. Now you can play it too, but unfortunately, it's being obscured by a lack of marketing. If we had more people playing this game, that would make everything so much better. The price is right too, $25. I highly recommend this game, and that's not just the WarCraft 3 modder in me talking. In a few months, we'll follow up on this game to see what happens. Thanks for watching!